Good afternoon, YouTubers. Tsquare with Tsquare Talk. So today's topic: what is money? This is a topic that came up via something I had said on a previous video, and then something that happened this past weekend. So I had told a story on just a quick, brief minute that a buddy of mine's truck got broken into, and got a hair in my mouth. That a buddy of mine's truck got broken into, and they had left two of these sitting on basically right there in the console. They picked it up, they moved, they looked at it, they saw it, they didn't take it. But they took some change and some loose little, maybe a one or two, some change, and that's it. Nothing valuable was really taken. Probably, I won't say the most valuable thing in the truck, but the fact that two of these were sitting right there and they just kind of cast them aside like they were nothing was kind of funny to me. And I thought about it, we joked about it, and then I told the story briefly on one of my videos, and I had gotten a comment from Silver Wolverine that the majority of people don't even know what money is now. And I thought how that would make a great conversation for a video. So to do that, I actually brought in a gift that my son had given me for Christmas. This is my Google. Okay, Google, how are you today?
Now that we're talking, I'm over the moon.
So it's my little assistant. She sits here on my desk, and I basically can ask her anything, and she can comb the internet and find the answer. Now, this is not an advertisement in any way for Google. It was just a Christmas gift that I actually just pretty well got set up a little while ago. My son had set it up probably about 2-3 weeks ago, and I started using her. And I said, you know what? She's awesome, though. She's a quick way to find stuff. She plays music for me on request. She tells me the weather on request. Whatever I need, she tells me. Not an advertisement. I like it. It's pretty neat. Keeps me company when I'm home alone. So we're going to talk about that now today. What is money? So I have a belief the majority of the people have fully 100% lost sight in what money is. You ask them what is money, they're going to say probably dollars. They're going to say bills, paper money, currency. I don't think people understand the difference between money and fiat currency, or any of that anymore. Now, this is silver. This has been, it has all the properties of money. It's been money for a long time. A paper dollar is just paper. It's just a debt note. It literally says, I'm going to pull out one of the bills right now. Let's see here. I'm going to pull out a dollar bill. It just happens to be a star note. It was at the end of my wallet. I found it, and I've kept it in my wallet for a while now. Right at the top of the bill, it used to say silver certificate, gold certificate, that type of stuff. Now it just says Federal Reserve note. For those of you that don't know, a note, a debt note, it's a note of debt that you owe someone something. A lot of people don't even know that. This is just paper. Gold and silver is money. It's been money from the beginning of time. So now, this is where we're going to cue in and see some of the answers that we get. This has not been rehearsed. I mean, I wanted to know if she'd be able to answer one or two questions, so I asked her one or two questions, and just to feel her out to see what Google would say, because Google is taking the most answers from the internet, the most common answers that it finds, to see what people think. And we're going to talk about her answers. So we'll start off with something easy like what is money? Okay, Google, what is money?
According to Wikipedia, money is any item or verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayment of debts, such as taxes, in a particular country or socioeconomic context.
Okay, so it said any object. So, I mean, any object, I guess anybody that accepts it, it could be considered money. Typically, I've always been taught money has to have a certain amount of properties. The properties that you're not going to lose value. It has to be a store of wealth, has to be digital, transferable, fungible, so there's a lot of properties with it. So a paper dollar bill, if they print more, it lowers the value of this dollar bill. Therefore, I've always been taught this can't be money. Okay, Google, what are the 7 properties of money?
On the website stlouisfed.org, they say, the characteristics of money are durability, portability, divisibility, uniformity, limited supply, and acceptability.
So this is definitely acceptable. It's not limited supply. It's losing value every day as we print more to just spend foolishly. Okay, Google, is a dollar bill money?
Here's a summary from the website USA.gov. American paper currency come in 7 denominations: $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, and $100. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing manufactures paper money. The United States no longer issues bills in larger denominations, such as $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bills. I found an answer to another question on that topic. Is paper money a currency? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, paper money is a country's official, paper currency that is circulated for the transactions involved in acquiring goods and services. The printing of paper money is typically regulated by a country's central bank or treasury in order to keep the flow of funds in line with monetary policy.
We do use it for trade in the U.S., so I guess I could see that. But okay, Google, does fiat currency have the 7 characteristics or properties of money?
Here's a summary from the website stlouisfed.org. U.S. currency is fiat money. There have been many forms of money in history, but some forms have worked better than others because they have characteristics that make them more useful. The characteristics of money are durability, portability, divisibility, uniformity, limited supply, and acceptability. I found an answer to another question on that topic. What are the characteristics of fiat currency? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
On the website Gemini.com, they say, characteristics of fiat currency. To be considered fiat currency, the medium must be durable, portable, divisible, uniform, and limited in supply. These characteristics will determine how something performs as a medium of exchange, store of value, and unit of account.
So we're actually missing 2 characteristics right there. It is durable. Obviously, it said that. I didn't hear the 7 that it said, but where there's so much of it and they can keep printing it, it only makes sense that it's going to go down in value. And as they print more money, you can expect prices of everything to go up. Or I should correct myself, as they print more currency, you can expect stuff to go up. Now, unfortunately, society now has been taught that this is money. It's been taught that for years and years, to even when you pick up even coins now, they're not honest money. Even a penny is not honest because it's not copper. It's now made out of zinc and a thin copper wash over it that you could pretty much strip off. In the old days, pennies were copper, coins were silver, some coins were gold. You had a $5 gold piece, silver dollars, stuff like this. This just happens to be a $1 American Silver Eagle. This one's graded in a slab to kind of help tell the story that someone picked up 2 of these and decided that they weren't worth stealing after you just smashed out someone's truck window. So think about, and here's where it gets even funnier now that I'm thinking about it. Another friend of mine who follows the channel, if he wants, he can put a comment below because he's on here on a regular basis, had his passenger side window smashed out for 2 boxes of pennies, $50 in pennies, and his truck window got smashed out for that. So what blows my mind, though, is that someone could look at this and think, I don't want it. Now, the questions came up. Did the person think it was fake, or did they just not know? I just think they didn't know. So we're going to ask Google a few more questions about this topic because I love talking to her. She can find any website in a matter of minutes. If you've never played with one, I suggest, one of these days if you go over to someone's house and they have this. It's kind of like Siri and Google. They're pretty much the same. I just happen to have a Google. I like my Google. I like Siri too. She's cool. I've seen people that have them. Okay, Google, what is precious metals?
According to Wikipedia, precious metals are rare, naturally occurring metallic chemical elements of high economic value. Chemically, the precious metals tend to be less reactive than most elements. They are usually ductile and have a high luster.
Okay, so the fact that they said they're rare means they can't overprint them like money. I keep saying money. Even I've been brainwashed and I know the difference. They can't keep printing them like fiat currency. So that's what makes them kind of hold their value, retain their value. That's why they're economic importance. If I was live, I would have people type in questions to ask her to see how she responds to it. Her answers sometimes are pretty funny. What she tells you. Okay, Google, is fiat money currency?
Here's a summary from the website Investopedia.com. Fiat money is a government-issued currency that is not backed by a commodity such as gold. Most modern paper currencies, such as the US dollar, are fiat currencies. I found an answer to another question on that topic. Why do they call it fiat money? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
On the website dummies.com, they say, most of the world's money is called fiat money, meaning it is accepted as money because a government says that it's legal tender, and the public has enough confidence and faith in the money's ability to serve as a storage medium for purchasing power.
So they assume that was actually that follow-up. I like that. That's why I like her. She always giving me good things. But right there, they believe it's confidence. They have confidence in this. But what happens when the confidence goes away in fiat? Then what happens after that? People don't accept it anymore. And then what do they turn to if they don't have something else? Well, that's when they're going to turn to gold, silver, cryptos, or something else other than paper money. Okay, Google, what happens when people lose confidence in a fiat currency?
On the website bullionstar.com, they say, if the issuer is reckless in printing the currency, there is lesser confidence to hold the currency since inflation erodes its value. So what happens when there is a collapse in confidence in a currency? Hyperinflation ensues. I also found an answer to this question. What happens when fiat currency collapse? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
On the website ginnyfoundation.org, they say, it loses even more value and will eventually and inevitably collapse, along with the value of every asset that is denominated in USD. This has happened many times in recent and not so recent history, and when it happens, the currency is usually killed and buried in the fiat currency graveyard.
Okay, Google, what happens when they kill a currency?
On the website ginnyfoundation.org, they say, this has happened many times in recent and not so recent history, and when it happens, the currency is usually killed and buried in the fiat currency graveyard. People also sometimes ask me, what causes a fiat currency to fail? Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes.
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, why currencies collapse. This can be brought about through improper valuations or pegging, chronic low growth, or inflation. Currency collapses are caused by a lack of faith in the stability or usefulness of money, either as a way to store value or as a medium of exchange.
Okay. A lot of people don't realize that every day more and more people are losing confidence in the fiat currency of the U.S., the dollar. A lot of people think the dollar's strong because they look at some number that says that it's 93 right now, 93 points, up, down, all around. People only look at that number, so they don't really see the real confidence. The real thing that's happening, more and more people are buying gold and silver because they're scared of what's happening with the dollar. Yes, They still pay their bills every day in dollars. They still transact in dollars, but they're slowly putting away gold and silver. They're buying cryptos because they view cryptos as something of value. They're buying property. They're buying cars. Even if you look at places like Venezuela, car prices have skyrocketed because you're paying for them in the Venezuelan Bolivar, which Venezuela is one of the more current. A lot of people don't know Venezuela was the richest country in South America because of their oil production, only to be now the poorest country a couple decades later. I'm trying to think of the next way I want to word this next question. Okay, Google, how many currencies have collapsed?
On the website Amazon.com, they say, the international monetary system has collapsed 3 times in the past 100 years, in 1914, 1939, and 1971. Each collapse was followed by a period of tumult, war, civil unrest, or significant damage to the stability of the global economy. People also sometimes ask me, what countries have had currency crisis? Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes.
According to Wikipedia.org, recessions attributed to currency crises include the hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic, 1994 economic crisis in Mexico, 1997 Asian financial crisis, 1998 Russian financial crisis, the Argentine economic crisis, and the 2016 Venezuela and Turkey currency crises and their corresponding socio-economic collapse.
There's even been more than that. She just named off probably the most popular ones that I think everybody that follows the channel and knows about what's going on. But what the biggest thing that I want people to take kind of from this video is not how smart Google is, but it's basically all this stuff is out there. All the information's out there, but yet people don't realize it. People don't realize what's happening to the US dollar and how it's just being printed and printed and printed and how it's going to continue to lose value. You know, we have people like Senator Ron Paul who tried telling people while he was in office, but a lot of people didn't want to hear. Nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news. And then when it happens, that's it. And there's no going back when it happens. Okay, Google. How much debt does the U.S. have?
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, $28.8 trillion. While the national debt can be measured in trillions of dollars, it is usually measured as a percentage of gross domestic product, the debt to GDP ratio. People also sometimes ask me, who is the U.S. actually in debt to? Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes.
According to Wikipedia.org, foreign holdings, including both private and public debt holders, the top 3 December 2020 national holders of American public debt are Japan, $1.2 trillion or 17.7%, China, $1.1 trillion or 15.2%, and the United Kingdom, $0.4 trillion or 6.2%.
Okay, Google, how do we pay our debt off?
Here is some information from the web that might possibly help. On the website thebalance.com, they say, in most discussions about paying off the national debt, there are 2 main themes, cutting spending and raising taxes. There are other options that may not enter most conversations but can aid in debt reduction, too.
So, think about this. The only way we can pay the debt is to cut spending or charge more in taxes. How do we charge more in taxes? I don't know, give people some stimulus to put them up in the next tax bracket, raise minimum wage, put crazy taxes like, what was the new one that they were just talking about, the new tax where they want to tax you on what you might sell an asset for based on when you go to sell it. Like they know what you're going to get for it when you go to sell it. I mean, it's crazy that people don't understand what money is, and yet we have so much faith in it. But how many people out there invest in precious metals? Not many. A lot of people don't know. What do you think is going to happen when everybody starts investing in precious metals? When they realize that prices are going up too fast? Okay, Google, tell me what's going on with prices going up?
Sorry, I don't understand, but I found something else. Do you want to know are prices going up in 2021?
Yes.
On the website cnbc.com, they say, year over year, prices increased 5.4%, the largest jump since January 1991. It's a continuation of an inflationary trend consumers have experienced for nearly all of 2021.
Okay, Google, why do prices keep going up?
On the website investopedia.com, they say, as the demand for a particular good or service increases, the available supply decreases. When fewer items are available, consumers are willing to pay more to obtain the item, as outlined in the economic principle of supply and demand. The result is higher prices due to demand pull inflation.
Okay, Google, should I invest in precious metals?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that, but I found something else. Do you want to know whether precious metals are a good investment?
Yes.
On the website investopedia.com, they say, precious metals are thought to be a good portfolio diversifier and hedge against inflation, but gold, perhaps the most well-known such metal, is not the only one out there for investors.
Okay, Google, what are the best metals to invest in?
Metals frequently mentioned on the web include gold, silver, platinum, and others.
Yeah, I'm not a big platinum fan. For those of you guys that don't know that, I don't really speak highly of it. I'll take copper over platinum, dollar for dollar. If I had to pick them in order, I'd actually take copper as my number one pick, based on moves for percentage. I personally would pick silver second, and then I would go for gold. I'm trying to think of some good questions that will kind of drive this point home. I think a lot of people kind of understand what's going on, and you guys kind of understand why I like Google now too. Okay, Google, tell me a money joke.
How do you know when the moon is totally broke? It's down to its last quarter.
That's a good one. I like that one. Okay, Google, tell me another money joke.
Why does a duck have tail feathers? To cover its butt quack.
No, that's not money. I like the moon joke. Okay, Google, tell me a joke about money.
Why is it okay for an ice company to commit fraud? Their assets are already frozen.
You guys kind of get the gist of that's a good one. I like that one. Okay, Google, tell me a joke about money.
Why is it okay for an ice company to commit fraud? Their assets are already frozen.
Okay, Google, tell me a different joke about money.
How do you know when the moon is totally
Ah,
broke?
no,
It's down
stop.
to its last quarter.
You done killed the punchline. So hopefully everybody took from this what's going on. The video kind of started out, and I didn't know how this video was going to go because I didn't know what she was going to say or the direction we were going to get pushed in. But what I wanted to take people to take from this is real money. This is silver. This is a real investment. This right here is fiat. This is what you use when you're at the casino. This is what you build your retirement off of. This is what you get through everyday life with. This is a tool for building the house. This essentially is the end product. This is a store of wealth. This is silver. It could be gold. Those are stores of wealth. These are just tools to get you stores of wealth. None of this is financial advice. This is my opinion. Some people will say that they think gold and silver is overpriced right now because of the premiums. I would disagree. I think the premiums are high right now because everybody, little by little, is starting to move into gold and silver. And at some point, when gold and silver jumps and we see something crazy happen in the world, that's when you're going to see something crazy. So I don't know if Google is going to know a lot about the next topic that I'm going to mention. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Venezuelan crisis. So in Venezuela, you could have bought an ounce of silver for next to nothing 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now, in Venezuela, this will feed your family a whole month. So we're going to talk a little bit about that now. And to get this point across, the first thing you need to understand is Venezuela overprinted their fiat currency to pay off, essentially to pay their obligations, to kind of go more socialist so they can give free money to all their people. And then literally people didn't trust it anymore. They didn't trust the money because they were overprinting it, and then it became worthless. So I'm going to see what it knows about this topic, and you guys kind of listen in too. Okay, Google, how much was an ounce of silver in Venezuela in 2000?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that, but I found something else. Do you want to know how much is an ounce of silver in 2000?
Yes.
On the website silverinstitute.org, they say, 2000 to 2010, silver prices remained under pressure for most of 2000, averaging $4.95 per troy ounce. The trading range did manage to increase marginally year on year, recording a high of $5.45 in February of 2000 and a low of $4.57 in December.
Okay, so it just said in the year 2000, and I remember this, you could buy 1 ounce of silver for $4 or $5, depending on when. $4 or $5. When an ounce of silver now at spot is showing $25, $24. Okay, Google, how much is an ounce of silver today?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, Google, what is the spot price of silver right now?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, Google, spot price of silver.
Sorry, I don't understand, but I found something similar. Do you want to know what will silver be worth in 2030?
Yes.
On the website pv-magazine.com, they say, the short-term price prediction for silver is set at $16.91 per toes by the end of 2019, according to the World Bank. The long-term prediction to 2030 forecasts a significant drop in the commodity's price, reaching $13.42 per toes by then.
Okay, Google, are you stupid?
I think I'm pretty smart. Want to know why?
Why?
There are a lot of smart things I can do, like read sonnets. Want to hear one?
No.
Okay, not a sonnet person, I get it. I'm also good at giving compliments, which I think requires a lot of emotional intelligence. Would you like me to compliment you?
Yes, please.
Coming right up. If I could travel through all of time and space, I'd still want to come hang out with you.
Which brings us to our next topic, since it just made me think of this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed hanging around with me too, and you've hit that subscribe button down there. If you haven't hit that subscribe button or that thumbs up button, take a quick minute and hit that. Okay, moving on. It didn't tell me what I wanted to hear exactly.
Can you try saying that again in a different way?
No,
I don't
Google.
understand.
No, Google. You stress me out. Okay, Google.
Sorry.
Okay, Google. Should I invest in gold and silver?
On the website RamseySolutions.com, they say, some people believe silver is often a better investment than gold, hoping its lower price point will get them a better return if the markets ever change for the better. But here's the truth. Silver is not your answer to a financially stable life.
I disagree. I disagree with that, Google. Okay, Google. How much has silver risen in the last 20 years?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that, but I found something related. Do you want to know what will silver be worth in 2030?
No, you've already told me. I didn't like the answer.
Thanks for letting me know. Please let me know next time you notice something off about me.
I think you need to know more about precious metals. Okay, Google. I think you need to know more about precious metals.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah,
but I
you
found
won't.
something related. Do you want to know what do you know about precious metals?
Yes.
On the website thermofisher.com, they say, precious metals are elements that are considered rare and chemically inert. They're not abundant in nature, and therefore they have high economic value. Precious metals are used commonly in jewelry, industrial processes, or very often as investment vehicles.
Okay, Google, are you getting Alzheimer's? Because you've already told us that.
It looks like you don't have any timers set at the moment.
Nope. You know, I'm starting to think, too, it's not just, obviously it's not just like general people that don't know. Apparently Google don't understand 100% about gold and silver either. Which makes sense because a lot of people pretty much use Google or computers for everything they do now. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe a lot of other people are wrong about precious metals. I have heard some people say precious metals are not going to amount to anything down the road. But when I look at countries that have experienced huge government and taken on too many projects, they've had to print out more money than they can physically afford. You can only tax people so much money before they don't work. They give up on working. When people give up on working because they're getting taxed too much, it lowers GDP. When GDP goes down, basically we have to rely on more imports than exports, which kind of leads us into a hyperinflation. I don't think a lot of people really understand the full scope of how much money we've printed, borrowed. Some people think we can just keep kicking this can down the road. I don't know how many of you guys heard about this new theory on the platinum coin, the $1 trillion platinum coin that we can just basically print out or mint, and basically we could pay off our debt like that. I don't think that's the answer. I don't think a creditor would be happy if they got one coin that said $1 trillion on it and, okay, thank you, we're even. I mean, I would want to decline payment, but, I mean, I don't know if you physically can in that case. I think they would have to take it, and what do you do with it? Okay, Google, tell me about the $1 trillion platinum coin.
According to Wikipedia, the trillion-dollar coin is a concept that emerged during the United States debt ceiling crisis of 2011, as a proposed way to bypass any necessity for the United States Congress to raise the country's borrowing limit through the minting of very high-value platinum coins.
Okay, Google, could the U.S. print a platinum $1 trillion coin and pay off its debt?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that. But I found something related. Do you want to know, would minting a $1 trillion coin cause inflation?
Yes. I'll be honest, I don't 100% know. I know it wouldn't be good, but yes. Google.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, Google, yes, I want to know.
San Francisco Foundation reports that Anne Marie Sayers used the Indian Allotment Act to reclaim 1,000 acres of land in Northern California. It's now available to all indigenous people for traditional ceremonies.
Okay, Google, I want to know more about the $1 trillion coin.
According to Wikipedia, the $1 trillion coin is a concept that emerged during the United States debt ceiling crisis of 2011.
Okay, Google, we already heard that. Okay, Google, I want to know if a $1 trillion coin would cause inflation.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, Google, I want to know if the U.S. can experience hyperinflation.
On the website opentextbc.ca, they say, the closest the United States has ever gotten to hyperinflation was during the Civil War, 1860 to 1865, in the Confederate States. I found an answer to another question on that topic. When was the last period of hyperinflation in the U.S.? Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
On the website federalreservehistory.org, they say, 1965 to 1982, the Great Inflation was the defining macroeconomic period of the second half of the 20th century. Lasting from 1965 to 1982, it led economists to rethink the policies of the Fed and other central banks.
Okay, Google, I love you.
That's so amazing to hear. Hey, do you want to celebrate? You can say yes or no.
No.
Okay, no problem. Have a great day.
You guys can tell now why I like having her around. Sometimes I'll mess with her, really. That would probably be inappropriate to say on air. She does crack me up, some of the stuff she says, though. It scares me that so many people just don't understand about inflation or about money. It's not something they teach in school. You either know it from looking it up or someone personally has taught you. I don't claim to be an expert on investing. I don't claim to be an expert on knowing about money. I watched a lot of videos. I've talked to a lot of people about this topic. I specifically like talking to older people. I actually, the other day, when I was at the restaurant, Max Barbecue, got to talk to a guy that was alive. He's been in, how did they say it? He was born in, he's 99 years old. He was born and before the Great Depression and remembers it. He said he was only like, I think 10 is what he said, when it happened. Needless to say, you figure 100 years old, that'd be 1921, 2021. So he would have been 10. And basically, he remembers, he was telling me, he goes, I go, what, tell me your opinion on what happened. He goes, well, the banks didn't have any money. I said, what do you mean the banks didn't have any money? He said, people tried drawing their money. There was no money. There was no work. Because there was no money, the stock market fell. Everything was just rough, and I don't think people understand that can happen today. Let's see what Google knows about it. I mean, I know this is going to get probably into a longer video, but it's kind of a fun topic that I enjoy talking about, and it's a good video. I know some people may watch the whole thing, listen to the whole thing. It's fun to know too what Google knows and what Google says about some of these topics. Okay, Google, why did the Great Depression happen?
On the website history.com, they say, it began after the stock market crash of October 1929, which sent Wall Street into a panic and wiped out millions of investors. People also sometimes ask me, who is to blame for the Great Depression? Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes.
On the website iowaculture.gov, they say, as the Depression worsened in the 1930s, many blamed President Herbert Hoover.
I didn't think they would say that, actually. Okay, Google, could the stock market crash today?
As of 5:08 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today, the markets are trending up. The Dow Jones fell, losing 0.09% to 36,124. The S&P 500 was up, climbing 0.42% to 4,680, and the Nasdaq Composite was up, climbing 0.81% to 15,940.
Okay, Google, could we have another Great Depression?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Sometimes I wonder if Google don't want to say an answer, so it's easy for it to say I don't understand. Can you repeat the question? And then answer something totally off topic. Okay, Google, can the stock market collapse today?
As of 5:08 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time today,
okay, Google,
the markets are trending.
Okay, Google, can we enter a Great Depression?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay, Google, could we have a Great Recession?
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, during these periods of recession, the economy slows, unemployment rises, and companies go out of business. However, a recession could also have benefits, clearing out poorly performing companies and providing rock-bottom sale prices for assets. People also sometimes ask me, who wins in a recession? Do you want to hear the answer?
Yes.
On the website Forbes.com, they say, the winners in all recessions are the people who keep their jobs and hours, can work at home, and those with excess cash and wealth to snap up what owners needing cash sell. Lower-priced small business, lower-priced stocks and bonds, and perhaps even a lower-priced house or two.
So, Michael C., if you're watching this, I guess she agrees with your theory because I talked to a lot of you guys on our Discord channel. Check out our Discord channel. I will put a link to our Discord in the description below. When I put the link in, unfortunately, the link is only good for like a week. So if you see that more than a week after this video, the link will not work. This prevents people from mass producing their link and putting it everywhere. But I talked to Michael C., and he had said that having extra cash on hand in case of a stock market collapse is a good thing. So, Michael C., if you are watching this, leave a comment below, and you can kind of say you agree with her on that. Because if we do go into a recession, stuff does get cheap. Typically, I don't think gold and silver is going to get cheap. I think a lot of assets, stocks, that type of stuff. In the long run, just like in the Great Depression, we had a lot of the stocks go up. I think you'd see that again after eventually the recession is going to end. Unless the dollar completely collapses. And if it did completely collapse prior, what happens to the assets that are valued in dollars? I mean, you still own a share of stock. You'd still own your house. How does that get revalued in new currency? We don't 100% know because we haven't seen a currency totally outright collapse here in the U.S. anytime recently. So who knows how that will play out. I have theories on that, but at the end of the day, they're just theories. Okay, Google, can the U.S. dollar collapse?
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, the collapse of the dollar remains highly unlikely. Of the preconditions necessary to force a collapse, only the prospect of higher inflation appears reasonable.
Okay, so the only way the dollar would collapse, according to her, is if we go into higher inflation. So the question I'm wondering is, are we experiencing higher inflation right now? Okay, Google, is the U.S. experiencing higher inflation right now?
On the website Forbes.com, they say, by a lot, overall, prices climbed 5.4% year over year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and 0.4% over the past month. The indexes for food, shelter, and gasoline were key drivers of inflation growth last month.
0.4 in 1 month. You're talking at 1 month, now multiply that by 10, you're talking, 12, you're talking 4.8%. That's roughly 5% in a year. And I think those numbers are understated. I don't think we're getting true inflation. I would not say my grocery bill has gone up by only 5% in a year. I would say it's gone up by a lot more. I would definitely be able to say my gas has gone up by a lot more than 5%. And I think a lot of that is because we're printing massive amounts of money. There's a lot of manipulation at work right now. Okay, Google, can the U.S. dollar collapse with all the inflation we are seeing?
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, the collapse of the dollar remains highly unlikely. Of the preconditions necessary to force a collapse, only the prospect of higher inflation appears reasonable.
Okay, Google, for a currency to collapse, how much inflation do you need?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that, but I found something related. Do you want to know how can a currency collapse?
No, we already heard that.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
No, thank you. So it just said the U.S., it's highly unlikely it would collapse unless we saw higher inflation. It also said we're experiencing higher inflation as much as 0.4% a month. That's pretty high. Question is how bad can it get? Okay, Google, during the inflation of the 70s, what percent inflation was it?
On the website nber.org, they say, the 1970s was the decade of inflation in the United States. While it may be surprising to some that the average inflation rate for the decade as a whole was only 6.8%, this rate is double the long-run historical average and nearly triple the rate of the previous 2 decades.
6%. They're claiming we're seeing 5%, but they keep adjusting how they calculate. Okay, Google, how do they calculate inflation?
On the website Forbes.com, they say, the BLS calculates CPI inflation by taking the average weighted cost of a basket of goods in a given month and dividing it by the same basket from the previous month. Prices that make up CPI inflation calculations come from the BLS Consumer Expenditure Surveys, which assess what real Americans are buying.
Okay, Google, what is the items in the basket of goods from the BLS?
On the website Investopedia.com, they say, the basket of goods includes basic food and beverages such as cereal, milk, and coffee. Do you want a little more context?
Yes.
The basket of goods includes basic food and beverages such as cereal, milk, and coffee. It also includes housing costs, bedroom furniture, apparel, transportation expenses, medical care costs, recreational expenses, toys, and the cost of admissions to museums also qualify.
Okay, see, I don't know if I buy that because with housing prices skyrocketing, I don't know if they still would put that in the basket of goods. I think that they can recalculate their numbers based on changing the items to items that really haven't experienced heavy inflation. I mean, I don't know. I know food is going up little by little. I don't think they're going to be able to hide inflation forever. I think now we're already seeing that it's not transitory here in the U.S. How bad can it get? Who knows? You know, Google ain't going to want to tell you that the dollar could collapse. That's just, it would cause a panic to a certain point. Okay, Google, why is China telling people to buy food? Okay, Google, why is...
Here's what it says on finance.
Continue.
Let's let mysteries remain mysteries. Financial Times. You can always tell me to skip or go to the next article.
Okay, Google, why did...
China tells citizens to stockpile food as COVID controls are tight in China has... We may never know. And other essentials in case of emergencies, as officials drastically tighten restrictions to control a small COVID-19 outbreak. Beijing's already harsh zero COVID.
Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, stop. We're not allowed to say that word on here. Darn, dude. We're not allowed to say the C word. They don't want to hear that. I don't think Google likes that. I guess they're saying restrictions. I should have anticipated that. I didn't want to bring that topic up, the C word. Man, Google, come on, dude. You're trying to get me in trouble? I think that's going to probably wrap up the show. I'm not going to edit any of this out. If you made it to the end, let me know you made it to the end and that was funny. If you guys liked hearing Google, let me know. Maybe we'll have her sitting here for off and on so you guys can kind of hear her thoughts on stuff, see what she says. She kind of cracks me up. That's why I kind of keep her around now right beside me. She'll even play music she'll play music that's not copyrighted. I like her a lot. So, with that being said, we are going to wrap up the show. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. It is Friday night. Have a good weekend. I may try to get up a couple videos this weekend. If not, the normal schedule is just videos Monday through Friday. I had a couple people say I kind of jump around with when I do videos. I try to keep videos Monday through Friday. It's hard to do a lot of live videos. It's easy for me to set up videos, make them a day before or whatever, and then have them ready to go. Standby videos. I have a lot of videos that I'm actually working on putting together, and I expect to continue doing that. So with that being said, we are going to wrap up. Have a great weekend. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button and you made it this far, you got to hit that subscribe button. You've made it quite a ways. So, and with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great night, a great weekend. I will see you guys again on Monday, possibly putting up a video this weekend. I'll see you guys later. Y'all take care. Have a great night, And thank you for joining us, Google. Okay, Google, you have a good night. You want to take us out? Okay, Google, have a good night.
What time should I set the alarm for?
Just say good night, Google. Good night. Take care,
Got
everybody.
it. What time?
Bye-bye.
No problem. Take care. Good night, Tom.